Hey guys, welcome back to the Forge. I'm Big Cloudwise, and we also have Forge Master. So today we are going to be doing a new style of Hex Talk. We are going to be touching on some of our favorite ships, tech, and other things that would go along with this. We're talking warships and other things of that nature. So
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
what was that?
Okay. Almost had a casualty.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I got it. It's all good. So, which one do you want to talk about first? Let's talk about one of yours.
Okay, so hold on. Like we're gonna go to yes, there we go.
Are you building a kit right now?
I'm going to as soon as I get this ready
I'm doing
to
just so everybody knows, while we do this, we always build something.
yep.
I'm doing the Master Grade Master Gundam.
And I'm going to be working on working on a bash. I'm going to be taking some railgate parts and slamming them together. So we're going to be talking about this beauty. This is the Enterprise E, which you see this ship on First Contact and in what was it? Nemesis. This ship is very, very fast. Um, I try to find out.
People
I
on
try to find
TikTok
as
here. What's
much.
up, guys?
I try to find out as much as I could on it, but unfortunately, I was not able to find any of the actual thing other than it was a sovereign class. The actual registry is NCC 1701 E. Armaments are 16 phaser arrays, 10 torpedo launchers. Defense is deflector shield. It has impulse engine, a warp drive, and RCS thrusters. It has one power core of a warp core, and it is 30. Well, it's metric tons that wouldn't even be able to land in Earth's atmosphere. Total length of 685.7 meters, width 250.6 meters, and height of 88.2 meters.
What's up,
This
guys
thing,
on TikTok? Sorry.
hey guys on TikTok, welcome. This right here, it also still has the feature to where it can break apart from the warp core or the warp drive.
Oh, that one separates too, like the
Yep,
other
like
Enterprise.
the yep. I don't know if Kirk's ever was able to, because I don't remember ever seeing that version of the Enterprise come apart like that. But I do remember a couple dozen times in Generations where they did this. For
I thought that
instance,
was the
one
only
of
one
the
that did it. I'm not that familiar with the Star Trek, but
well, Riker tried to incorporate that into the Riker maneuver, as he would say. It's that every pilot apparently has that one maneuver they're really good at. I don't know. I'm not a pilot.
new gimmick for the next generation. That makes sense. Leviathan Prime was saying that. That makes sense. Although I really thought it was super sweet though when the first time I saw it separate in the show. That was like wow. Now you have two ships, double whoop ass.
Yep,
I mean,
that's a
as a
crazy
Star
thing.
Wars fan, I've always liked Star Trek because different tech, different starships and whatnot, and aliens. And for me, when you see something like that, that just like, wow, this is like really cool. And I think the two worlds could definitely come together a little bit more.
Oh, like so there's rumors. Well, speaking of like crossover, like genre mashups. Sorry, totally off topic of this, but like when I was growing up, there was comic books that all my friends and I wanted. It was a series, a crossover series. It was Transformers versus GI Joe. So you had Cliff Jumper and Bumblebee finding the GI Joes after Optimus Prime and a few other Autobots and a few other bots are captured and enslaved by Cobra.
I remember something about this. I don't. I
It,
remember
it,
the mashup with the two, but I didn't remember why or the story on it.
like you got like there's that's where you get the big crawl, the big mechs from later on in the original series. Is this crossover? So the big white mechs that you see him fight on Mars and everything with the
Yeah, and
prototype
then that
is
cave,
that.
that snow cave, yeah, that was super cool.
Uh, there was some crazy stuff. Like the movies were cool. I was talking about the original show back in when I was a kid, like early '90s. They were doing reruns.
I don't think I ever watched it in the 90s.
It was a cartoon, like right around this. I'd say right around Thundercats era.
Thundercats. Oh!
I think somebody needs to make a more realistic version of the Sword of Omens. Something a little bit more like not like believable, but more functional would be the operative word.
I would like to see a better redo of the series. I thought when Cartoon Network redid it,
They
it was
modernized it too much.
it was too drug out. It seemed like every episode or every other episode was a filler episode.
They were trying to take what they had on Toonami and expand it. They were trying to do the whole filler part, but they never really saw why all that filler was necessary in Dragon Ball. That filler was there because if they were to do the entire fight scene the whole fight like it was supposed to be, it would be over in like 20 minutes.
Man, these rubber pieces are pretty sweet on this master grade master Gundam. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, not to change the subject or nothing.
See, the reason I like the Master Gundam, not only is it like the rival of Domon and the God Gundam, it's also okay. We're really off topic here,
Yeah, we are really off topic. I apologize. Go ahead. We'll go on with the.
but all right. So Star Trek, like one of the other things that I was really impressed from by was uh a certain phaser. It's from what was it from? Oh, Voyager. This phaser was used against the Borg. It was a really weird looking thing. Okay, so that's what. But the way that it looks weird, but it actually cycles through all the phaser variations to be able to compensate for the Borg shield modulation.
Their shields are different.
Like they phase, like they adapt. Their personal shields adapt very quickly. 1, 2 shots after killing a drone, and they adapt.
Wow, that's a cool looking phaser.
Yeah. But they literally were traveling through nothing but Borg infested space when they had to come up with this. They got trapped on the other side of the universe. They were in a totally different quadrant of, well, I think they were actually might have been, that part's debatable, but they were like light years, thousands of light years away. It was going to take them, if they could go constant warp, it was going to take them like anywhere from 30 to 40 years, maybe longer, to get back to Earth at constant warp.
Hmm.
And all this is going on during Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. All right, why don't you do something of yours next, Bradley?
Let's see. What do I have? I pulled up one of my favorites that I have to talk about, and I don't feel like it gets talked about enough in Star Wars lore. Cause I'm, yes, a Gundam guy, love it, but Star Wars is what kind of did it for me at the beginning. There we go.
That's what sealed my fate.
So I picked my starship, my ship on the Eclipse class dreadnought. Let's see. The Eclipse class dreadnought, also known as the Eclipse class Super Star Destroyer, was, in my opinion, one of the most powerful of the Star Destroyers. Let's see. I think what's
Those,
impressive the most for this is the size. You know, it was one of the largest ships to ever be constructed. Although, you know, you got the Executor class Star Destroyer, which was big, but
which
not
was
like this.
flagship.
Right, the flagship, Vader's the Executor, and that was the Executor class, though, I believe.
That was the executive dreadnought. There was two of those, I believe. I believe the Eye of Palpatine was actually meant to be paired with Vader's. I believe all of the major ships within the Imperium were supposed to have one of these automated ships.
Yeah, there
That's the
was
speculation because it never came to fruition to even get tested.
the biggest ones. Yeah, because it was the Executor classes that were before this, and they were designed loosely off of those. But
Yeah.
there was one of those that Admiral Thrawn was looking for in
I believe it was Vader's. Because
no,
Thrawn's
Vader's
always
crashes
been a
into the
investigator.
Death Star.
Well, he was looking for a lot of Vader's and the Emperor's pet projects. And that would definitely been a pet project. The Executor class star dreadnoughts, because when Vader was Anakin, he designed the starfighters that him and Obi-Wan flew. Later
I
on,
didn't know that.
Vader designed the TIE fighter. He also designs the V-Wing. A
I
lot of
didn't
the
know that
systems that
either.
the Imperium uses as far as ships, Vader either had a hand in it or did it himself in creating it. That was one of his many Jedi gifts, I guess you could say, was being able to understand mechanic things. Anything with engines, anything like that. That was his jam.
Yeah, that was his jam.
Well, I mean, if he would have had a sibling, the sibling thing within the Skywalkers is pretty crazy, because Janice and Jen Solo, they were twins. That's what's supposed to be. That's where we get Ben and Ray in the actual canon universe.
Yeah, yeah. PU. I'm sorry if I offend anybody. Here's the
The
thing,
fight
man.
scenes are cool and everything, but the storyline is trash, and that's my
Right,
personal
and
opinion.
I read those books, man, I can't even count how many times I've read those books just because it was interesting. The whole Thrawn thing, and you know,
Well, the
and then
Rebels
to
and Thrawn was cool to a certain extent because you get to see like the last part of the Empire fall. The battles are good. The Race Squadron was a good series. Um, Rogue Squadron was a good
yes,
series.
Rogue Squadron was good, and then for them to come out with that smut. And again, I apologize if I offend anyone. I know if you like them, you like them, and I don't have anything against anybody that likes them. That's your forte. That's fine. I don't down anybody that likes anything, but I'm disappointed. I mean that whole thing just I think it hurt my
Well,
feelings, to be honest with you.
have you seen what was it? Well, it's got the so it's got one of the trainees that's from Rebel. It's the Mandalorian one, and that trains with the guy that ends up killing Thrawn, the Jedi from Rebels that gets trained.
You
Uh,
talking about Ezra?
yeah, Edra Bridger. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
his
yeah.
little crush, the Mandalorian girl. In that series, you
Uh,
actually find out how Thrawn survives.
yeah.
Oh,
What's her name? Jesus Christ! I
it's
don't know why I'm
the
drawing a blank.
Gray Jedi. Also, back when I was like when I first started getting into it, they were just called Force users.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I just, I don't know, man. I think with as vast as Star Wars is, the universe, I just think there could have been, man, dropping pieces, piece down. I just think that, I don't know, man. I mean, it to me, it just didn't look like there was a whole lot of thought put into it.
Well, yeah, I can see where you would say that. They were just
I
hoping to
mean,
kind of roll off the like last part of what could have happened easily, I guess. I don't know. It's Disney.
I would have been
And
fine with that
I'm
though,
not condoning. Go
even
ahead.
if they didn't go directly with the story as they didn't. I mean, I still would have been cool with something better. I mean, first order. What do you mean? First order of what? And the resistance. What are you resisting exactly? Please explain this to me because last time I checked, it was a
Well, the
rebellion.
resistance is basically kind of like a counter-terrorism as far as they were what was the original resistant force that won the galaxy their freedom.
Yeah, I
So
get that,
basically
but
what was left of Rogue Squadron.
I understand that, but dude, it's like when there's a resistance, you're resisting your government or you're resisting change in your
The
government. And to
resisting the
me,
tyranny that was left in the universe from the Empire.
but that still falls on to the New Republic. I mean, they could have done this story a little bit better and not had no resistance because the way they portrayed the resistance was they were worse off than the rebels.
They
And
start
that
off in certain parts, yeah.
and it's
Like
like what?
in the newer movies, there's a lot of stuff that they could have. Yes, like the newer movies, they've messed up a lot in my mind. But you gotta
And
remember,
don't
me and you, we grew up with the original first three movies, four, four, five, and six. Those were
that were
ours,
good.
man. Like,
That were good. That had actual substance and story and
but all those go hand in hand with the original manuscript. Even one, two, and three goes hand in hand with the
right.
original manuscript. Everything after that, that's movie wise, that Disney did, in my mind, is just really poorly written fan fiction.
That's yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even. I don't know. Like I thought the Mandalorian season series was amazing.
Well, yes, the shows are a lot better than Force Awakens on.
Right.
Force
Ahsoka was
Awakens was
amazing.
a joke. And all through there, like I said, fight scenes cool. Really cool fight scenes. Some of the tech in there was cool. Like a lot of it. But all of that is just not how the universe was supposed to end. That was only the beginning of the beginning of the end of that universe in the books.
Right.
I was really hoping to see the Yuuzhan Vong.
You and me both. Or just, I mean, I would have been happy with, Thrawn, hopping around the galaxy looking for stupid shit so he could fight the New Republic or whatever. I mean, I don't know, dude. At this point, I think I would have been happy with anything other than that smut. And I
Like
really
they're like
shouldn't say it that way because I don't want to offend. I mean, I know people like it, and that's fine. That's
there
cool.
was there was a lot of there were some cool points that they had in that movie, but they could have handled it a lot better.
I
Yes,
agree. I
but
totally agree. I think it could have been handled a lot better.
look who we're talking about. It's Disney. They've got to mess up somewhere along the lines and then uncanonize it. That's what's a lot of stuff is going to happen. And then the Alkalite,
That was stupid.
there was
I
some
hate
good
that.
points to it.
I
That
didn't
was
even think.
supposed to be that was supposed to be the opening to their new lineup, which
Yeah,
was supposed to be the Golden Era, like right before the Sith Wars, the Sith Jedi
yeah,
Wars.
and it
Supposedly,
it flopped big time. Like people weren't having it. I watched it, but I was like, man, this is like dumb.
it's kind of hard to follow if you don't know what you're looking for.
And I don't mind. Like I was reading some stuff about where people were mad about the new Sith
Trinity
that's
didn't
in it,
get much screen time.
huh?
Trinity didn't get much screen time at all. That's who was
She
in it.
died in the first show, right at the beginning.
Yeah, a lot of
But
people got upset about that.
I didn't mind the Sith guy, the bad guy. I didn't mind it because let's be honest, even in the books of
But
in the
he is
old
actually in
Republic,
the books. Yeah,
there was
he's the renegade. He's the renegade Sith, the Marauder Sith. That's what it was.
but the way they portrayed it in this story, I mean, he was just some rando guy because I mean everybody knows that in the galaxy there's a bunch of Sith wannabes running around. And I kind of just
Yeah.
took it as
Well,
that's what he was, but so that was fine. I mean, whatever. But the story itself was just dumb. It's like they didn't
well,
even
it was
try.
during the time that all this is supposed to go on. Like, you want to know, like, Yoda isn't even around at this time.
Yeah, it's 100 years before the Star Wars we know. So Yoda's around.
No, he's like not like we know him. He's basically like Grogu. He's young. He's an older version of Grogu, basically. He's like
Yeah,
in
I
his
mean,
early teenage years, basically, for his species.
yeah, I don't know. I just it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me at all. But I just feel like the Eclipse class starter story. There was so much stuff they could have pulled from and got amazing things. They didn't have to come up with their own shit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought the starships and the new Star Wars were cool, but not like that. So, anywho, what's your next one? What's up, TikTok? Thanks for joining. Building the Master Grade Master Gundam. It's been not too bad, I guess. I'm just not used to the screws and all that stuff, but getting through it. Hope everybody's doing great out there. Oh yeah, I like that. What do they call that thing? I think you're muted.
Okay, so this is a sorry, technical difficulties.
It's all
So
good.
this is
All
a
good.
staff weapon. It is used by the Goa'uld army, which the Goa'uld army is their main troops are Jaffa, which the Goa'uld the system lords, the gods that they betray, are actually just parasites. These parasites also need incubators, so the foot troops act as foot troops and to carry larvae, basically. And it's powered by what is called Naquita. It is a well, basically here. That's the actual power source for a staff weapon.
What is that? Looks like green liquid.
Well, it is. It's liquid Naquita. Basically, this is in everything that the Goa'uld have, from their weapons to the metal of their ships are made out of, even in their own blood, and even more so in the Jaffa's blood because they're supplying also the young.
That's cool.
Yep.
Always
But
loved
basically,
Stargate.
when they
That
come to
series
Earth,
was
uh,
that
like,
Stargate series was amazing.
well, I think it would be kind of cool to have a Stargate. Just imagine, basically, you're making an Einstein-Rosen bridge. You're taking a wormhole and you're two wormholes on one on each side of a gate, and you're just bending space to your will. You step through and you're instantly on the other side of wherever. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome. Save a lot of time too.
save a lot of time. I believe. I don't know. I'm not going to get too far off topic with that one.
Well, we are getting close to our own, like a kind of a version of FTL. They're really going hardcore with the FTL through a wormhole.
Yeah, I read
Like they're
something about
really
that
gonna
the
go for
other
it.
day.
Hmm?
Think they really will. I mean,
I don't know, man. Either way, that's a risky one from what I understand about wormholes. Like I wouldn't want to attempt it. From what we understand and what we actually know, yes, I get it. Two totally different things. But from what I've seen on every science fiction show, it would be crazy. That's all there is to it. It
Steve
would be a
Clark
crazy
now
ride.
building the master grade Master Gundam. I finished the Zgog yesterday.
Dude, like that would be a cool suit, like a cool build to do with a with the Infinite Spec 2 Justice.
Think they'll come out with that kit.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they will, and it will probably be start off as
That'd be sweet.
okay. There are a couple different variants of staff weapons. There's a big freaking cannon, and then there's a shorten of what you first saw there. It is more of like a shortened bow staff with the energy weapon attachment. Anything else? Like, what do you got for us now?
Uh, I have. Hold on 1 second. Look at that. That's sweet. Oh, shit.
Hey, Hey, don't cough up a lung. I ain't got any way to replace it for you.
Yeah, I don't either. Especially now we ain't got no health.
Well, dude,
All right.
we can talk politics some away from the show, though.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Not trying to be mean to anybody that wants to talk politics. Like I agree with some of both sides, but in the actual end of it, I just think we should be able to be ourselves within reason. Don't harm yourself. Don't harm anyone. Yeah. That's my whole outtake. Anyways,
So my next topic is my weapon is the Mac cannon on the ships in Halo. Um,
that's a that's a damager.
well, I've always been a Halo guy. I love Halo. Played it a lot when I was younger, but I've always been really interested in that. I thought it was a railgun, but it's not. Well, I guess it kind of is. It's a coil gun. It's still a
Which is
magnetic
similar.
accelerator cannon, huh?
It's similar to a railgun.
It's
Very similar.
similar. It to me, it seems to be a little more. Wow, this is
Well, a coil gun, in theory, has a little bit more build-up time than anything. Like, there's literally a time that has to take to build up the energy, and they usually have the first round ready to go in those kind of weapons in science fiction movies. Like, they already have the coils already powered up, and the backup system's already engaged usually.
yeah. See right here, it says it should not be confused with a railgun, despite the
Yeah, well, I mean, railguns, they're usually they there's no usual build up to those type of weapons. They just usually you fire it and that's it.
it's
In theory, in actuality, though, that's totally different.
yeah. It
There's
says the
actually
cannon fires a massive metal projectile using a linear system of magnetic coils down a long shaft, which is basically a railgun.
practically, yeah, but
I
like I
mean,
said, there's a charge up time there. They're using like electrical capacitors to keep the thing going. Basically, think of it as like a rail gun, a magnum version of a railgun. There's more oomph as it goes along. It's gaining speed, even more so than a railgun would
more so,
provide.
right? Yeah, I always
There we
thought
go.
that does some pretty serious damage.
Yeah, it can punch through one of the Covenant shields.
Yeah, it says here that it's like one of the few things that actually can that the humans have.
So there was like 7 or 8 of those stations in a ring with the mat with those mat cannons, and on each one there was probably 4 barrels on. So there's a power station alone. So in the second game, like that cannon could literally take out the entire armada, just those stations alone, if the battle would sway in their favor the
If
entire
it was
time.
right, right. I don't
But even
know.
if it does, like all it would take would be one of those stations going down to create an opening.
I also find like a lot of stories, sci-fi stories, when humans are fighting aliens that are a more advanced race. A lot of times, the story, which I understand, it's a story that somebody came up with, and it's not theoretically true, I guess. But it's just interesting to think when human beings are fighting aliens that are more advanced than we are, and our projectile weapons seem to always do damage more than their weapons because they're in their sector of the universe. That's what everybody's gone to already, is energy weapons and stuff. Like I do a lot of, I know it's real nerdy, but that's what we are. The Forge of Nerds and the Nerd Hex Forge. That's what we are, nerdy things. So one of my things is I like reading, listening to, and reading the Reddit sci-fi stories. And
Yeah,
that's,
there's some good ones out there.
dude, oh yeah, man, there's some amazing ones out there. And that's one of the things that they talk about in some of those stories is how some of these aliens, yeah, they're like way more advanced than we are, but we can go toe to toe with them because of our way of thinking of war. We're using projectiles where they've already went to energy weapons. So it's kind of like
They're
ray shields. Ray shields keep projectiles from hitting, where shields
keep
keep
energy based.
energy weapons from hitting.
So, like, yeah, you've got a point there. Ray shields are for kinetic fire, like
Right.
projectile weapons or even gauze guns and things of that nature.
Oh, I am like missing some of my clips to paint. Wow. All right, yeah. We're just gonna do it without clips. That's fine. We got this.
All right, so let's get back on topic again.
Wow. I'm like super unprepared for this build tonight. I didn't get all my. There we go. So anyway, back to the Mac cannon, which is magnetic accelerator cannon. If nobody knew what Mac meant, because I did not know.
I figured it stood for something. I just didn't know what.
Yeah, I kind of did too. I was trying to find the charge time between firing, but I can't
That
find
would
anything on that.
well, they well as much as our video games, we would like some of our video game stuff to be detailed. Certain things probably would be a little bit harder to come up with. Like for
Yeah,
instance, the firing, like the charge time for the like this, like you would have to find someone that could do the math for that. I don't know how to do that kind of math problem.
no, I don't either. There's no way, and I don't even want to try. To be honest, that's a lot of brain power.
I barely get through my classes right now. I'm good.
I Yeah, I'm good too. The way life is these days, I'm good. I don't need any more thoughts.
I'm good with the way I like. I've been getting by with like my classes, but they've been getting harder as they go along. So
Really.
yeah, but it's going to be worth it in the end.
Absolutely.
I've always wanted
My
to
clips.
start going to college, and there's a lot of things that have been happening in my life lately that have been really good. By the way, like you guys, if anybody is watching this from Celestial Nerd, what's up? Anybody that's not watching that doesn't know about Celestial Nerd, it is a Facebook group,
Yeah,
and we are based on all things nerdism.
yeah. Everybody on
Anything
TikTok
like,
out there, check us out. Celestial Nerd on Facebook. Everything that's nerdy.
yeah, everything from Stargate all the way down to Whovians. Even if you like anything from Macross to Ninja Scroll.
Anything. That's right.
That's a good one. That's a good old fantasy one.
Wow, like I don't know what I have done with my clips. I found
Oh,
one.
well, Ninja Scroll?
No, my clips for
You lost me.
my clips. These little alligator clips.
Oh, yeah, paint clips, yeah.
Yeah, I love these chrome.
Dude, like, I've got a few ideas coming out of my head right now with for this. So if you guys if you don't follow me on TikTok, it's Bits Hexfire, um, for my tag on TikTok. But I've been doing this. It is going to be a psycho frame prototype of the Freedom. I am taking marker and painting all this. It's even in here where it's break down into the armor.
Nice.
And I've got it back here in the little grates of the thruster. Ow. He probably said, "Oh, son of a biscuit." But yeah, this is like I'm taking my time, but I one day had an extra kit and I just said, hell, might as well try some new
Well, we'll try
tricks and
something. That's right.
Gunpla's
Try something.
Gunpla's freedom.
Gunpla is freedom. That's right. Do what you want. Make it how you want. Hi there,
Yeah,
Angry Hobby. Thanks for joining us. Building the Master Grade Master Gundam.
I'm working on a bash on a full package and a allied and the strike Gundam that are real grades.
I have what is it, 18 in my 18 kits in my backlog, and I'm got only one high grade left.
Dude, like I think high grades are cool, especially to bash with. Like they're my go to with bashing, and I'll even incorporate high grade or real grades into some high grade builds as well. Believe it or not, real grade makes good over
Meaning
armor for
gun to
either
freedom.
master
That's
grade or
right,
high
man.
grades.
Hell yeah. Gundam meaning is gun for freedom, right? That's what our friend Angry Hobby here. I thought that's what it was too, isn't it?
Well, that is a saying from Meijin Kawazuki the third from the Build Fighters series. He
I like
also
that.
says it in Build Fighters
Gun for
Try.
freedom. I like it.
It, it's the motto of the Gunpla community. I like to think.
I love it. That's nice. I didn't know that.
Mm, freedom
Hell
of
yeah.
self-expression. Yeah, like there's before anything, have you finally watched Requiem for Vengeance?
Dude, listen, man. I know I've been on TikTok a
You've
lot.
been
I
on a
know
hiatus for a while.
I have been. But here's my opinion on it. And I've listened to what everybody else had to say about it in our community and on TikTok and whatnot. And I'm here to tell you right now, I feel what you're saying as far as the animation goes on the way the characters talk. And yes, it does look like a video game, but man, I thought it was amazing. I watched it 3 times. Loot to everyone in history. Order to
Dude,
find
it
the
was like
key
the
at
way it looks and
Vietnam. That's
everything
right,
is
man.
very cool. I like it. I think it brings a whole new perspective to the UC war, just like Unicorn did.
I do too. I agree. And see, and that's the way I was thinking of it too, because this new Gundam, that EX, I don't care what anybody says. I
It
think
looks
that
more
design is
realistic in
amazing.
my mind.
It does to me too. And man, I think it's great. And I like the aspect of looking at it in a position of, hey, when Armoro jumped in the RX 78 for the first time, that was in space. And it's kind of cool to sit and think that, hey, on Earth, there was another one.
It was the actual
The
prototype of the
actual,
RX
right.
78.
And I think that's great. I think that's amazing. I like that. I like everything about it. Love it.
Hmm.
I thought it was great. But yeah, I get what they were saying about the way the mouths moved and stuff. But you know what? I watched a lot of damn Japanese shows and stuff back in the day, and the mouths didn't move right then either. So whatever. I'm good with
It
it.
was worse back then. You'd get a whole sentence out before he even mouthed the word
Yeah,
or she
right.
mouthed the word, the one freaking word or one syllable in our language.
Man, Iron Blooded Orphans is probably my favorite one out of all of them. Angry Hobby, and I'm probably going to get chastised for saying that, but Barbatos is probably hands down my favorite one out of all of them.
Well, I hmm.
That's my
We'll have to
opinion.
talk. We'll talk here after a while because I've had an old idea in the back of my head that's been gnawing away at me too. Bad thing about me, guys, yes, I have multiple builds going on at once. I rotate through them. I know a lot of you guys out there probably do and just don't say it. You'll see me working on a ton of things, and then some projects might just disappear. Anyways,
Yeah, I only do one at a time. I'm
I'm
lying
a
to
very
you.
big believer in energy, and if I don't feel like I'm putting the right energy into the project I've already started, I don't work on it for a while till I can't.
I have like this kit here. I'll show everybody there in the TikTok world too. This kit right here, I love it. I think it's an amazing looking kit, but I'm here to tell you right now, man, I built the head, the chest, and the waist, and I put it back in the box, man. That thing pissed me off, man. It like, I don't know, man. It like, I'm going to get back on it, so I can't sit and say that I don't have multiple projects going on at one time. I have a Zoid Great Saber down there that I have to finish too, so I guess I do.
Well, hey, man, like it's all like at the end of the day, if you don't feel comfortable uh, finishing a kit, like hell, don't do it. That's the way I look at it. If you're gonna go back to it, or if like for me, a lot of the kits that I wanted to finish, but I messed something up on it too much, I throw it in for bash fodder as the queen of the kit bash community would say.
I haven't like messed it any of them up per se. It's just like the Great Saber, man. A beautiful, beautiful kit, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I think it's an amazing looking kit, and all the extra detail I did to it just like really set it off. But dude, seven
See, I'm
hours per leg, and I did the first two legs. 7 hours. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. It was just, I don't know, stressful.
all right. So that one leg right there on that freedom, probably altogether, probably about a month altogether to do that.
Wow.
I had
See,
to start over twice.
I wouldn't say that like I'm a power builder because I don't like build a whole master grade or anything in a day. I guess I could if I sat with it long enough.
Mm,
But
I've started
I
to
mean,
slow down on my building on
it
certain
takes
builds.
me for like this master grade here, the master Gundam. It'll probably take me 4 days, 3 or 4 days if I really take my time. Like I'm right now doing my detail in the arms and stuff. Trying to get, and then I did the detail in the feet. Trying to get some of that gold just to kind of stand out the edges because I've been finding out here too, like panel lining. Like I got gray panel liner and stuff, but it don't like you can't see it. So I've been trying to think of ways to bring out the panels
Well,
uh, on black
it,
and dark blues.
that you would offset the color a little bit, go a shade higher or a shade darker. So
Ooh, you're
on like
modeling it. What do you
black,
model?
I like to use gray, and on dark blue, I use a shade lighter or a shade darker blue that I can find. And if you
Nice.
got acrylic paint, you can use your panel lining pen to, if you thin it out a little bit.
Oh, he's modeling it. So Angry Hobby says he's got 40 hours in high grade Zaku too because he's modding it. That's sweet. What you modding it to?
Any
That's sweet.
specification?
I'd really love to see that.
Out
Still
of the
need
two of
40
us,
more. Wow, that's sweet. I want to see that.
Bradley is more of the mono eye guy.
Yeah, I love a mono. I do. I've what's funny about that when I first started this, I wasn't into it, man, but now it's like, wow, I don't know, something about them. I really like them. Really, really like them.
I mean, the mono. I've seen some really cool mono eye builds
I
the
have
last
to.
couple of years. Like there are some pretty sweet ones, like the perfect Zygog, or not the perfect Zygog, but the perfect what was it? Sharp piloted against the Gundam. It had the hands that flew off that later on were incorporated into the
All right,
Psycho
Angry
Gundam.
Hobby, we can. Which
But basically, it was that unit with legs and it had a big sword.
the Zegog, the
Yeah,
Zeong?
yeah,
I think I've seen
basically.
that. I think I've
Yeah,
seen
like
that.
it's a rare kit, but it's out there. And they've got a real grade of just the one Char piloted.
I have that one. Oh, you
Yeah,
talking about
like
with the
that
leg?
one. I'm pretty sure someone's out there that's making a conversion kit to make the legs for that by now,
Huh.
if
I'll
not
have to
already
buy
out.
another one then. That's one of my favorite. The the Zeong is probably
Yeah,
one of my favorite mobile suits. I love. I know it don't have legs. I get it, but I really really love the way it looks and the whole concept behind it.
it's a pretty cool concept, I will say
I
that.
agree. I think so too. I think it's amazing.
Like just the sheer ability to be able to pilot something like that would be staggering.
Dude, I mean, I'm wondering why we ain't got no real mobile suits now at this point, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not saying as advanced as a Gundam or a Zaku, but
At least a power armor type thing.
something. I mean, right, something. Come on. I mean,
I mean, I would love something like that, that's for sure.
I would think by now that with servo technology the way it is now, we would have already had something.
Well, over in Japan, there's a guy that's actually basing his whole engineering career around making what would us in the Gunpla or Gundam community would call a mobile worker.
Elon Musk is busy for sure.
No, it's not Elon Musk. It's some
No,
guy over in Japan that was tied to some of the Japanese firms over there.
no, one of our friends on TikTok, Angry Hobby, was saying, commenting on it. He might try to build one though. You never know. With the guy you're talking about in Japan, Elon Musk ain't going to
He's
sit
a
around
lot
long
more
enough.
closer than Elon Musk would get.
Oh, I'm sure, but he ain't going to sit around and not let it happen too. He's going to come up with something.
He'll try to find a way to counteract a Gundam. And counteracting a Gundam, like if it's built to the way we know as a Gundam is, that's no easy task. Not even
Oh
for another
no,
Gundam.
yeah, he won't. I mean, we're still a long way out for technology like that.
Yeah. Even if it was just even like non-Trans Am GM like art style armor, E-carbon armor. That's even out of our reach right now. I can see something more like lunar titanium in our near future.
I could see probably something like the nano type technology in Iron Blooded Orphans too.
Yeah. See, I have an alloy that I want to try. Like I would try to run through a simulation if I could afford something like that. But it's a few of them that are really good ones to use for this. But um, yeah, just imagine having armor that strong that not even basically what you're getting fired at point blank range there in the first episode of the original series was
Right.
an Abram cannon.
Well, it's like I watched this thing where they were trying to do a angry hobby said want to make a bet. Yeah, what do you want to make a bet on?
Uh oh.
Yeah, I want to see. What are you talking about? What do you want to make a bet on?
I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what he's got to say.
Like.
He's got me interested though.
Uh oh. We're
See, it's
all
like
gonna try.
he said next 4 years there's going to be thousands of new jobs in space. I
Well,
could see that a possibility, meaning like maybe a starship. I mean, a space station, or
they're
because the
supposed to be
way,
building finally building a moon, something on the moon to test all the stuff that we're going to be sending to Mars.
right, right. So I could
All
definitely
the
see that.
pre-agriculture stuff and the biodome technology, oxygen generator,
I
stuff like
mean,
that. That's what they're going to be testing up there.
I'm not a big Elon Musk supporter,
Well, it's a lot of different space agencies coming together
but
all over the world.
I have to give credit where credit is due. I mean, the guy.
He got in on the ground floor of
I
some
mean,
shit.
yeah,
Some
dude. I
shit.
mean, he basically told NASA and everybody, fuck off. We're gonna be doing this, to what is this? There you go. Tell me that shit's gonna end.
That is the way I look at the world's very
Yes.
different.
Angry hobby here's got a good point. Like the starship, takes, you know, what does he say? It takes 50 reusable, about 15 times build a day. I mean that's true. I mean the guy's mass producing these things, and what I liked about his approach to it, regardless of how anybody feels about the man, the way his approach to it was like, NASA was being a bunch of wieners because they had, what was it called, the Orion project, where they were
Yeah,
building rockets again to start sending people back to the moon. And it's like they were
yeah.
dragging their feet. It was always something.
Well, they were also meeting a lot of uncertainties as far as like things happening to their tests and whatnot. I don't know all of that, but there's speculations made basically.
Yeah, I get that, but I don't know, man. I
At the
just
end of the
think,
day, if you can't, you can't blame everything on something like that.
well, I guess the thing that I'm trying to say about it is back in the '60s during the space race, dude, it was like pushing the limits, man, doing everything they could do to,
Well, they
you
were
know,
getting shit done back then.
yeah, and we were, whether regardless of, yes, it was, against communism and whatever, but it was also to push mankind beyond, what we were at the time and what we are now. And now it just seems like it's all about money.
Well, I mean, look, like I'm probably gonna catch some flack for this, but I still stand by the old saying: "The money is the root of all evil." No, it may out like that, but it has turned into that. And if you're too worried about the label on your clothes and you have enough money to go get, say, a pallet of food and just leave it on a corner where there's a bunch of families there that need help and just give it like that once a year, even, you should. There are too many people out there that can't make it because there's things going on in their lives that prevent them, and there's not
Dude,
enough people out there
so
trying to help.
check this out, bro. I'm glad this actually kind of happens. I can make my point now. So I have a double-edged cutter here. It's a snippet tool. I bought this thing. It's a Ryu tool. It was cheap, and it worked good for a little while. I had really had no problem with it. But then I bought this steady one, and man, I'm here to tell you right now, this steady one is badass. This Ryu tool one's a piece of shit, and I just broke the edge blade of it. Look, oh, you can't see it
Wow,
the way.
you must be using that thing kind of hard.
Dude, all I did was cut this runner right here. I didn't do anything that I don't normally
Oh,
do.
it's a single blade, isn't it? It's the Riddy or Ready.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
this is
had
a
one of
single
those.
blade. Yeah, single blade blue handle.
Oh, see,
It's
mine
a
were the orange hand or the purple
piece of
handle.
shit. Piece of shit. But this steady one that I got, the MS 100, man, it's sweet. I love it.
Well,
It
you
was
and a few other people we know
I think it was like
both
14
go by
bucks
that.
on Amazon, 15 bucks on Amazon. Angry Hobby. Totally worth it. And then I bought these last files. Oh man, these things are sweet too. I love these. I have to admit. But anyway, enough talking about what I like. I really like these steadies though.
Anyways,
They're nice.
what we're way off topic again.
We are way off topic again. God damn it.
What time is it, anyways?
It is 10:57, my brother.
All right, so we've got a few more minutes, and then we're gonna have to call it one.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Hell yeah. I shit my pants. Dude, so
I just
oh,
had that
I've
whole
been
thing
thinking
with
about getting that
Smokey and Big
steady, but
and
I'm gonna
what's his name
paper
in the
files.
first Friday movie go through my head.
Hold on a second. Angry Hobby there. I understand what you're saying. I have these files right here. But like I've gone through so many of these. Like they only last through like one kit, so I was trying something different, and I saw these, and I figured I'd give them a shot. I got a whole pack of them. This was the ones I
I've
got. I don't
heard
even
a
remember how
couple
much they
good
were,
reviews of
but they're
that
badass
particular one.
so far. But I still use these too, though. So I was gonna try some of these from Steady, see if they last longer. Anyway, what was you saying, Bit?
I was saying that I've heard a couple dozen good reviews about steady stuff lately.
Dude, I'm here to tell you, man. I'm like all about some Steady stuff right now, dude, because for the price. The quality is just like out of this world, man. I mean, I'm sure not everybody's going to agree with me. That's fine, but I like it.
I might try to get a hold of some of their electroplated markers.
That's those and the sanding pads is what I'm going for first. He says, "Nah, paper. I can roll them and shape them and control." Yes, I agree with you for that. Yeah, not. I know what you're saying about the sponge ones versus the paper ones, and I feel you on
I
that.
don't
I
know. I've
totally
never
do.
really liked
These,
any kind of sponge sanding.
I
That's just
like
me,
them,
though.
and I like the paper ones. I have some paper ones over there. And you're right about the glass. The earlier when I first started this kit, it's really hard to get around the corners. Uh, like right here, I was having a hard time just trying to go across. But I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's not bad. It just took me, and I'm not used to them yet either, so I really don't know what I'm doing with them, to be honest. So, but I'll figure it out. I do still use the paper and the sponge though. Some spots, and you're right. It is easier to mold the paper and the sponge. What do you use, Bet? What do you use?
Well, I mostly use glass files, and then I use like light great sandpaper, so paper, depending on what I'm doing. I've also like if I'm completely molding something different, I've got regular model files.
Yeah, I have some of those too. I have regular, but my problem with those is I get too aggressive with them.
Yeah, that's like I said, if I'm using like if I'm like constructing something out of Paul play or something like that, that's what I mostly use it to shave down massive amounts with.
He said
That's
I
what I
did
mostly use
some
that for.
vents on the Zaku that would be impossible to file with anything else. Yeah, I agree with that.
Paper, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Zaku, there
totally
are
true.
certain
Yeah,
things you have to use certain tools with on builds. I
right.
it's like
Yeah, I get that.
taking certain car parts and trying to put them on a totally different brand.
Yeah, there's been some spots that and I want to try. I gotta throw this pair in the trash. This is look at this fucking junk. See,
Well, I did have to like I did break the safety pin that was in mine, so I've had to like manually open and close mine now. I keep them
oh
for
really?
backup. Yeah, I keep them for backups these days. That's about it.
Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna buy the finer cut steadies, and I'm gonna buy the bigger ones because I always cut off the runner and do my whole
I'm
little.
not a runner cutter.
I'm
Like
a
I
runner
do a
cutter.
double nip. I double nip. I'm not gonna lie.
Ah, good point. I'm gonna do that. Keep it to cut less important thing. That good. Yeah, my dude. I'm gonna do it. I already. Yeah. They're not
Fender
that long
under.
either. What sucks, I just bought these like a month ago, and I've built, I don't know, 5 kits, 4 kits with these, and it's like, I don't know, man. Whatever. I am going to keep them though. Good looking out, Angry Hobby.
Yeah,
I'll
like you
keep
can
them.
use them. You can use them for like if you're using epoxy and you don't want to get your good ones messed up.
Right. Because the tips are still good. Maybe, yeah. Good looking out. I'll keep them.
I mean, I've seen repair kits replacement for those pins, but I can't find them now. Like they were out and then they disappeared. I was like, what the?
Huh.
Yeah.
I am definitely going to get a finer cut from Steady, and I'm going to get the sponge and paper sanding things from them. They got them in a little box.
Mm-hmm. Like
Why
I've
don't
seen
you
some of
split
those sanding
screen with the other
pads.
guy? We are actually trying to figure out. We have a platform. Angry Hobbies commenting. That's why I'm relaying everything back to Bit what you're saying. But We have a
Well,
thing on our computers that we're able to talk to each other and get on Facebook and Instagram, but we're trying to figure out how we can do it with TikTok because that's what I primarily use is TikTok. So
I've
we're
I've got a
working on it.
YouTube and stuff that I do, so I'd like to be
Yeah,
able to connect to everything. And
yeah. And he's got
so
the
many services
YouTube.
out there that say they do, but they really don't.
Um, Check us out though on YouTube and Facebook. It's Celestial Nerd on Facebook, and what is it on on YouTube? YouTube?
It is Hexfire Customs, I believe,
Yeah, check
or
us out.
Hexforge.
And all this will be
I
on
do
there
have
as
a
well.
link tree. If you go to his, you can find my profile too. Um, Bit Cloud or at Bits Hexfire on TikTok. I do have a link tree in there. Okay, so
Yeah,
YouTube is at Hexforge Customs. You need to set one of those up, dude. Like it makes the things a
yeah.
lot easier.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna set up my YouTube and all that.
Well, not just YouTube. I was talking about Linktree. That will get all your platforms under one thing, and they
That's
can
sweet.
find your everything right there for you.
Um,
Of yours.
I'm working on right now. I'm trying to because of Bit. I've been working with a lot, trying to figure out how to do all this stuff,
Me
and that's
too, man.
gonna. And I'm new to it, so I'm kind of still fresh to how some of this stuff works. So, but
Mhm.
I'll definitely get it up to date and fix it and whatnot, and we can stream on multiple platforms together, which is what we're trying to do for sure.
Dude, like I'm really impressed with this version of the Buster Cannon. It's the real grade version. Yeah, I'm really impressed with the way they designed it, the separation and everything. It's actually really cool.
The Buster Cannon.
Wing Gundam.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah. Like even the cartridges even come out. Like I'm real grades have come a long way since when I first did my first one. They didn't have the frame like they do back
All
then.
right, Angry Hobby. Yeah, I know what you mean. So in the mid to late '90s, when I first started watching Gundam Wing, whenever the hell that was,
It was Gundam Wing was the first series that the US got like introduced to technically.
I uh, I was buying the Gundam action figures,
Walmart.
and then
Oh
in
no,
Target.
Kmart.
Yeah, Walmart and Target. And then I realized that they had model kits, so I bought a couple of those, and I just didn't get into it back in the day. I thought that the action figures were a lot funner, but now that I'm older, I don't know, man. Something about building Gunpla just, I don't know, really calms my nerves.
Hey, some guys it's cars, other guys it's whatever, and
Well,
nerdy
here's
people. A lot of us like to build robots.
my car
Or
is
like
also a problem. I spent too much money on my car too, bud. I got a Chrysler 300 that I don't know, man, that I just put a system in it, all new headlights, tail lights. I don't know. I got a problem. I just have a problem in general. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd about my car, a nerd about, I don't know, whatever. I'm
I could
rambling.
see you doing like a whole dark samurai look on that car.
Dude, I was thinking about doing some dark Jedi shit on it or something. I don't know.
Force user would be pretty cool style. I mean, Force user, those were they could go either or.
Yeah,
Basically, a gray Jedi. I mean, Mace Windu's like his people was really easy to influence the Force either way. From what I've heard, but Gray Jedi. Those were some interesting people.
Yeah, they are some interesting people,
Like
and in
one
a
could
lot of
heal
ways,
and
a lot
throw
more
lightning.
powerful.
Yeah. I think what was it? Plagueis was the one that Palpatine was talking about. I think he was more of a gray Jedi than anything because of the way he was his ability allowed it to work.
Who are you
It's
talking about?
weird. Darth Plagueis, the one that could manipulate um metachlorines and save people's life, bring him back from the edge of death and everything. This is a story
Oh
he told
yeah,
Anakin in episode, I think it was 2 or 3, one of the two. They were
it
at an
was
opera
three.
thing.
Yeah, it was episode 3.
Uh, but yeah, like that whole story. I think Plagueis was really a gray, unless he was destroying life to be able to save the life.
He was destroying life. I read
That
that
was
book many,
never
many
really
times.
clear. I never really read up on that one.
Well,
I just
he captured his old master, Plagueis. Plagueis's master was training another Sith because their philosophy is you have to become more powerful and kill me to become the master.
yeah, basically.
So uh, Telebris, which is Plagueis's master, thought that Plagueis was a pussy, basically, that because they were master and apprentice for an entire human life, is what it says in the book. So I'm thinking like 80, maybe 100 years.
Mm,
And Plagueis never tried to take power from his master. So Telebris started training another apprentice. Well, uh, Plagueis found out about this and found and killed because the guy was coming to kill him, assassinate him. So Plagueis kills him, of course. What's up, Angry Hobby? Thanks for coming back, man. Uh, so when he defeated Telebris's second apprentice, he kept him alive and experimented on him with draining his metachlorians for a long time and left him in this state of hibernation, basically, where he was draining metachlorians from him and finally ended up dying. But
hmm.
yeah, dude, I love that book, dude. That was an amazing book. It was,
So,
man,
like, the one book I want to find from the Star Wars universe again, so I can recall a lot more of it, is the whole story about Darth Bane.
I have it, man.
That was my favorite Sith,
I have that
Darth
book too.
Bane.
I have both of them, where he ends up with the that armor on him, those
Mm-hmm.
scarabs, whatever those. I can't
The
remember.
Black Scarab armor
I,
or something like
yeah,
that.
where there was a parasite, and because Plagueis
Mm-hmm.
is so powerful in the dark side that when it finally covered his whole body minus his face, hands, and feet, he was telling Darth Xana that she couldn't have him because the pain was so bad that she couldn't handle it. But that's what fueled his fire, and that's what made him so powerful.
But that armor was very acceptable to a Force saber,
Right.
which is on a whole nother level of a regular lightsaber.
Dude, he was Darth Bane was like not just your normal badass is the thing.
He
That
was the
dude
last
was
true
like
king of the Sith Empire.
right.
He
He
could
was
body jump.
badass.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
dude.
like that is like the one story like out of all the Star Wars universe I could have closure on.
I loved it, dude. I loved everything about the story.
The way they
It was
just leave you
great.
hanging at the end of it is like,
Oh yeah, where you start to think that maybe he did
that he
finish.
survived.
Yeah, he survived and actually took Darth Xana's body. Yeah, you don't know. You don't know because the way that whole thing was said, that
He like
when
it was the way it sounds is like you exactly like Darth Xana could Darzana could have been body jumped, and that's where they get him with what was it? You have basically the whole thing where they think Darth Bane is jumped into Darth Bane. What was it? The Gunyan, Jar Jar Binks, and then you have it where then after that he goes into Palpatine. Like there, I don't know if it goes
yeah,
that
there
far.
I don't think so either. Just because of what I know about Darth Sidious, he is hands down one of the most powerful Sith of all time.
Yeah, he's right up there with He's
Yeah,
like
he's
Darth
up there
Raven
with
actually looks up to him, I think.
Bane and Revan, and yeah, and very powerful dude, man. Very powerful and evil dude.
I would not want. Well, I do know one thing. If Yoda would have been younger when those two met up, I don't think Palpatine would have won. I think Palpatine would have got his butt handed to him.
God, I hope not, dude. A non-binary purple hair god. See, they're just ruining Star Wars, man. I mean, I don't care about anybody being gay or anything. I really don't. It doesn't bother me. But come on, don't be throwing it all up in people's face. If you want to make
Well,
them gay, that's fine. Make them gay and non-binary. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But we don't have to focus on it.
no. So that's one part of that individual character's identity. Don't have to focus on it. Focus on other things about that character.
I just wish, because the thing about Star Wars is the universe is so huge. It doesn't bother me about having other races and sexes. It's just the way they go about telling the story of that person in that race or sex.
Yeah, I get
It's
that. I mean, again, that there are so many things going on in the world that are changing all at once. I'm not condoning bashing on any or race, religion, sexual creed, whatever. I do not hate anyone or anything like that at all. That
no,
is not something I can judge or hate or anything like that.
no, me either.
What
Not
I'm
at all.
saying is though some things are too hyper focused on for
Right.
whatever
Some things,
reason
right.
and it's blown up
Absolutely.
into a bad thing.
Right. You're turning
What
something
of
that could
anything
be,
is a bad thing.
and I understand why they do it. They're trying to normalize it, and that's fine. The thing is, to normalize something, you don't throw it, force it down people's throat, and you can make it
You slip it in here or there.
right. You slip it in here or there, or you allude to something. But here's the
Or if
thing.
somebody asks you or stuff like that, there's always ways you can do it. You just don't.
But with saying that, here's something else though too. If I'm watching a Star Wars movie or some kind of war movie or something with death and destruction going on, I don't want to see men and women doing it with each other either. I want to move on with the story. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I'm
Well,
here to
to a
see
certain
destruction
degree,
and
yeah, but
spaceships,
that
and
kind of throws everything off to where you can be opened up to a horrifying scene later on. You got to be able to balance that kind of stuff out.
I no, I right. You got to be able to balance that kind of stuff out. I totally agree with that.
Thrawn was really all that.
Thrawn was amazing. I thought Thrawn was great. What? The book Thrawn or
Not the book, the like movie. They're coming out with a Thrawn movie apparently.
Are they?
It's supposed to be loosely based off, if not right on the money of the book. There's a few other series coming out. Like they're going further on in between the Yuuzhan. What would be the book segment would be the Yuuzhan Vong during the whole Thrawn and Neo Empire wars with the New Republic, and they're also going to go like 100, 200 years before that
Right.
during the Sith Wars.
See, Angry Hobby here made a good point. He said, "How about we normalize heroes and virtues?" I agree with that.
Like I'm right there with you. Like
Yeah.
without honor and things of that nature, people people can't hold themselves accountable and separate the good and the bad. And no, not good and bad aren't so cut and dry, black and white.
Oh, here you go, man. Angry Hobby again makes a really good point here. Anime does that all the time, and that's why anime is selling more than Disney. Man, he hit it on the
Yep.
head there, bud.
Yep, there are more life lessons in stories from Dragon Ball or One Piece, Gundam, Zoids, whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And
he hit
and
the nail on the head there. That's like in Double
you
O.
can even learn stuff from Godzilla.
Oh, I totally agree. That's like when Double O, the main protagonist in that. I mean, what is he? Man, woman? Who knows? And nobody gives a fuck because they're not
No.
hyper focused on it. It's not that big of a deal because of everything else that's going on. We're talking about like what he said earlier. We're normalizing the heroes and the virtue and the actual story of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the pilot of the oh man, what is it? The Virtue, the big white one.
Yeah, the virtue.
Yeah, I mean that dude ain't nothing. He's non-binary, obviously. I mean, there's quite a few times he's dressed in a
Two
dress,
whole
walking around as
episodes
a
he's in a
woman.
dress and dancing with Ribbons Allmark.
Right, dancing with ribbons. Right, ribbons. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it.
Well, no, there was the one that was working with Celestial Nerd. He danced. It gets in a ball
Celestial being.
ground and dances with Ribbons Allmark. Unintentionally gets into that. But yeah, that whole. I think that was second season. But yeah,
Yeah.
that whole series is a good series. It has a lot of things that open up for later on, and
Well,
there are
right.
some Gundam series, unfortunately, that shouldn't focus on certain things.
Well, it's like what
I'll
was
have
it?
good points that make.
Iron-blooded orphans alluded
That's
to
a
that
dark
one
one.
kid
I
being
love
gay.
that
Remember
series, but it's dark.
what? What's dark?
Iron Blooded Orphans is dark, but it's good.
It's
Like, I'm
good.
not.
I agree. I agree. It is dark, but it is good.
I mean, I thought Akira was dark before. Whew. It's a different type of dark, but still, like I mean, that series, Iron Blooded Orphans, like some of the tech and the storyline to it's a good story, like through and through. But I
I
wouldn't
agree.
just like let anybody watch that series. Like you do not want to be of a weak stomach to watch that series in certain parts.
It's it's what got me back into Gundam.
Oh,
I was
that was double O for me.
I was scrolling around Netflix one day and I seen it. I was like, "What the fuck?" I said, "I didn't even know about this," and I started watching it, and I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go."
I
And then
started
I got
watching
into Double O.
Double O. I started watching Double O when it was coming out on Sci-Fi.
So I
That
loved
was
Double
about
O.
mid 2000, early 2000, mid early 2000s.
Double O is one of my favorites too.
Like there's a few other variants of suits that I would like to see put together from that series.
I agree. From
Like
what, Double O or Iron Blooded? Or
both.
that's what I was about to say. I could go as far as saying both.
Like I've got a few systems that I would like to incorporate into one unit. I could
I
think of a
think
few that would go good.
I think Iron Blooded Orphans for me. The reason why I liked it so much was one, when I think about a Gundam or a mobile suit per se, that's kind of what I would imagine. You know, you'd see the pistons in the stomach like that, and the hoses and stuff. I just kind of was really fascinated with that, and the way the
Uh,
Barbatos just rips shit apart, man. I mean, I don't know. I just really
I,
like it.
I do like that whole feature about Barbatos. It is a brute strength machine. Like all the Gundam frames in that series are brute strength or
Brute
like brute
strength.
skill. Ball
That's
was
like
Ball
there was
was
this
like that was that one.
there was this thing I watched where I didn't watch. I was reading it where they were trying to say uh, where they were trying to put like Barbatos against his Freedom Gundam,
Well, I can
and
see where they would want to see a fight like that. That would be a cool fight.
but it's null and void though. Think about it. They both cancel each other out because their armor. Like the Freedom can't take. I mean, it's designed to keep from being struck by a physical damage, where Barbatos was meant to take energy weapons. So it's like you're
There's
kind of
only one
defeating.
one reach around with that with the Freedom, and that's the railguns on its hips. That's a kinetic
Right,
weapon, technically.
right. But still, I mean, and it's the same thing with Barbatos and his gun. I mean, he could do it too with that, but you're talking about two things that are going to be hard to do to two extremely fast mobile suits.
Suits. And then, like, well, they both have drawbacks with the systems that they have in place.
They do,
Like
they
like
do.
you said, Barbatos can take the energy weapons. The only drawback with that, though, besides the railguns, is the multiple weapon system. Like that multiple strike system only gets worse when it gets upgraded into the strike freedom.
Right.
Like, I would not want to be on the receiving end of all that firepower hitting at once, even with that nano laminate armor. There's got to be a breaking point to it. So
Oh, I'm sure, and I'm sure it's the same thing with the strike, the Freedom Gundam. I'm sure it can only take so many poundings by that big mace that
mace,
Barbatos carries. But
that
you're
would
also
be a
talking
brutal
about
weapon to get hit by.
you're
Just
talking
imagine
about
seeing that flying towards you on the battlefield.
you're also talking about again two extremely fast mobile suits. One
Hmm.
flies, one does not. So you're going to have to take them both out of their element. I mean, Freedom does better in the air than it would on the ground. I mean, that's fact. That's what it's meant for.
It's
Barbatos,
space and arrow suit.
right? And Barbatos is meant for ground attack. I mean, he fights in space. I mean, I don't want to sound like that, but
But he has
it's
like a
very
different setup for that.
right,
That was a whole different setup.
right. That was a whole different setup. So
Like
you're
he even
talking
had a
about
booster unit for one in one mission. I know, but yeah, I mean, I like the way that they have the series set up, the weapon systems and everything. They're cool, but like you said, they cancel each other out. So that would be really down to just sheer hand-to-hand combat fighting with a suit.
Yeah,
That'd
see,
be the only way you could finish. That would be the only way the fight would be able to do it.
Angry Hobby brought up a good point. What you brought up about was the space mobility setup. I think that would be the only thing that would put those two. You put that on Barbatos in space with the Freedom Gundam. I think that's just an equal match to me. But I mean, and the reason I say that equal match is because they both powerful in their own field. Barbatos is going to have to get quick, get to him
In
up close
space, yeah.
fast, where
I mean, the
the
Barbatos
Freedom is going to
Lupus
keep
Rex was
attacking
fast
long
in
distance.
space, but I don't think it could keep up with the Freedom. That thing, it's meant to fly. It's meant to be.
It's meant to fly,
Uh,
right? But I think with the space mobility suit and the sheer speed of the Barbatos, I think it probably could keep up. Maybe again, I think it's just a balanced out where they just cancel each other out as far as their abilities go.
yeah, I agree with you there, though.
You're not
The
going to
nano
be
lemon
able,
armor would be the hard workaround with Barbatos,
right?
so I think.
Barbatos is not going to be able to get close enough to the Freedom. And the Freedom is not going to be able to sit long enough to lock on all that weaponry onto the Barbatos as fast as he's moving as well. And even if he did, same thing for the Barbatos. What are you actually going to do when you finally do get to that point where you hit him? Because even
You're
if
gonna have to
Barbatos
hit his
gets
head
hit,
off.
right. But even still, even if he gets hit, Barbatos gets hit with the beam. I mean, he can get hit, what, once, twice, maybe in a row? And as the armor's repairing itself, he's moving around. I don't know, dude. I think it's just a,
Well, I mean, you could go with a variant of the Barbatos Lupus, and that would be the amazing Barbatos Lupus Rex.
oh man, now you're talking about, oh my God, I want to get that. You talking about the red one?
Yeah, the
Oh
Meijin
yeah,
Kawazaki, the amazing Barbatos.
I want that thing so bad. I want it so bad. That
I,
thing is
dude,
so
I've
cool.
got some build ideas that you would want to hear, and I'll tell you some of them later. Anyways, hold on, I gotta check
Oh,
something.
dude, hold on.
Okay, yeah, we've got to get. It is, yeah. All
Hold on a
right,
second. I got
so
one more thing. Hold on a second. Mr. Scoots here has brought something up. He says, I can only
okay.
imagine how much of a problem those two would be if they teamed up. Ooh.
Oh, there's the
What?
better point.
I didn't even think
There's
about.
the better point
Yes,
right
dude.
there, my guy. That is a
There
very
you
good
go.
point.
That
You know
might
who
be a
I would
team
want to
of
throw into that team
destruction.
up though? From the UC era, I would throw in either Camille or Bernager. And from Wing, I would probably throw in either Quatra or Wu Fei. You need somebody with blades in there that is just straight blades.
Yeah, that'd be a good team up, I think, for sure. Long range backup and melee destruction. That's so true, Mister Scoots. That's yeah, absolutely. I didn't even think of it that way. That you're right. That's the conversation we need to have. Not putting them against each other, but putting them with each other.
Yeah.
Oh
See that,
shit.
like, what if you just took that simulator and you balanced it all out where you did team ups where they would balance each other out, kind of like they did with the the SD game Generations.
Yeah,
That I could see more if you did it with a real type.
yeah. That's what Mister Scoots was just saying. Perfectly balanced. I agree. I didn't even think of that. That's amazing. I
And I
think
think
that's
that's why I
amazing.
really am getting into GB4. I'm beginning to find a balance in my suits and how I'm setting them up,
Yeah, I
which I
think
need to
you're right,
start
man.
playing
I
that
think it's
again.
about time to get off here.
Yep.
I need to
So
go burn one.
with
My
that,
girlfriend will
I'm
be home
going.
here soon, huh?
With that, I'm gonna shut us out then. So, like I always say, stay nerdy, keep rocking, stay blessed, and Bradley.
Keep building. Be nerdy. Love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in to us over on TikTok. Appreciate you guys joining in on us. And we will figure this out a little bit more where we can be split screened on all the platforms.
Yep.
We are definitely trying to do that. We're trying to launch our what do you want to call it? Our episodes, our
Or
Forge
well,
episodes,
broadcast.
broadcasts.
We're gonna
Yeah.
be.
So go ahead.
I've got a few ideas I want to run by you later, anyways.
Okay. Yeah, we'll
But,
definitely talk about that when we get off live.
all
But
right.
yeah, I'll reach out to everybody. Thank you for watching. Um, and out there on the computer world there, thank you. We appreciate it. We're gonna get there. We promise. Thank you.
All
Stay nerdy. Keep building. Love you guys.
right, later,
Cheers.
guys. See you guys around the forge again.